wish for it or you can work for it.
You gotta work for greatness.
If you ain't working, you should be working.
Come on, let's work.
These are the confessions of a workaholic.
Welcome to Confessions of a Workaholic, where we share the success secrets of fearless female entrepreneurs who are obsessed with success. This is your girl, Coriel, and you are totally in for a treat today, especially if you are starting the new year off wondering how you are going to make your next move your best move, because we have the vision board queen herself in the building. Now, this episode is brought to you by The Inner Circle, a personal and professional mentoring program for goal-getting women. For more information on how The Inner Circle can support you in your success, visit majorkeymentoring.com. Now, as I mentioned, today we are talking to Lucinda Cross, known as the Chief Activator. She is the voice of this generation. She's the CEO of Activate Worldwide and the founder of Activate Your Life, a nonprofit organization. Now, her span of influence reaches over 30,000 Activate members globally, over 35,000 via social media, and hundreds of thousands through her weekly radio features in New York City. Lucinda is an accomplished best-selling author with 5 self-published books, the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from former president and my forever president, Barack Obama, and she is a highly sought-after international speaker and corporate coach. Lucinda, are you ready to confess?
I'm so ready.
So, I always like to start these conversations by talking about what your professional background is in, or like what you were doing before you became who you are today, because I always find it so interesting how our passions sometimes lead us away from our profession. So what exactly did you start your career doing?
Oh, God. I started my career. Well, I went to school, and it's just weird how things went in full circle, but I went to school for marketing and business. And then I was in corporate America for risk management and performance improvement. And so that's where the background in terms of my career started, and even the education base where I fell in love with marketing fell into place.
Well, that's definitely a plus. Any kind of formal marketing or business training that you have as an entrepreneur is absolutely, just added value. But what kind of shaped your journey to become this speaker and coach and influencer that is literally changing the lives of women all around the world? What happened in between where you were and where you are?
Oh, God. Shout out to Oprah Winfrey for that super dope speech she gave yesterday, because it's all about speaking your truth. And for me, that's where my journey started, with speaking my truth. I know we all have a story and many pivotal moments that got us to where we are. For me, it's, young from being in prison. Then it was being a single mom and pushing past that. And that's where I actually built my business. A lot of the things how I even got to where I'm at now is just embracing who I am, understanding that I own the power, and taking my power back and moving forward. So taking my power back and saying, Lucinda, you're not a statistic. Okay, you did what you did. You went to prison. All right, get over it, and let's make some magic happen. All right, you're a single mother right now. You have 2 small children. You just started to become an entrepreneur. I was literally not even a whole year into entrepreneurship when the breakup happened. And so now here I am with 2 babies, but that was when that's when I made my first 6 figures in my business. So it was those hard rock bottom moments that really pushed me to overcome all kinds of challenges that entrepreneurship had, because this thing is so not easy. And for me, it was easy to go to work every day. It's easy to wake up and be told what to do. But when you have to make them coins for yourself, and you're the only one that has to bring the meat to the table, that's where things started to change for me. And even with the incarceration, with, hearing the rejection, I had heavy rejection going on. Oh gosh, I'm not going to get this. Oh, they're going to look at me funny. They're going to judge me. And that started to carry on, but I had to let that go in order to get to where I'm at now. And a lot of that's why the company is called Activate Worldwide, because I started out as a procrastinator, the president of the procrastination committee. I own stocks in procrastination and perfectionism. because of my downfalls. But there's a saying I say that what rock bottom doesn't teach you, what wisdom doesn't teach you, rock bottom will. And that's where I've learned to get some of my tools of victory and overcoming is from those rock bottom moments.
Absolutely. You are definitely an example of turning, your test into your testimony and even turning your pain into your profit. Not to say that you are capitalizing off of your past, even though there's nothing wrong with that, but you really have found a way to reach other people. And you have such a story that so many people can relate to in so many ways, definitely from dealing with the adversity and having to use that, as really your platform. But I think that, the best coaches, the best teachers, the best leaders are ones that have actually been through something. The people who have this, this perfect record or this perfect background or was born, with the silver spoon in their mouth, they often don't have really the experiences to teach you, those hard lessons learned and try to save you, from making some of those same mistakes. How can you say your authenticity has helped you to build your personal brand? Because just in being honest and talking about your past and talking about what you've overcome, like I said, I think that definitely makes you more likable, more relatable, like a real human being. How do you think that has helped to add value to your brand?
On one end, it started to intimidate some people, because when you start to be so truthful and open about yourself and it's real, it's no hidden agenda. Some people started to get scared of that and I'm not going to get too close, because they had their own skeletons and they wanted to make sure that I didn't see that. So that was one end of it, where it was like a down, turning the eye. Then the positive side of it is where people were like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of hearing the huff and fluff. You're saying things that, I wish I could have said, or you're helping me to overcome my own situation. And so, I tell people what really related to people is that prison story. And that's something that I was hiding from. I didn't start telling that until 2013. I didn't want that to be a part of my story. But when I started to share it, more women started to come up and say, listen, I'm in my own prison in my relationship. In my own prison mentally, health wise. And so they started to take pieces of my story and look at their own life and say, man, you know what? I'm ready to take the cuffs off of my own situation. And so it started to help more and more women, and they weren't afraid of exposing who they are and exposing what they've gone through, because they knew I wasn't going to judge them. And so, that increased my bottom line tremendously. I did lose clients with telling my truth and telling my background, because I was working with clients that, didn't look like me, and they quite didn't understand what I was going through. But I gained thousands and thousands, and even the media attention, things that I didn't even expect, with just being vulnerable and honest and authentic. It separated me, Coriel, for real. It separated me from every other speaker and every other coach who was saying the same thing. It put me, that was my secret sauce. That was my superpower, was my authenticity.
So my listeners are going to kill me if I don't ask you to tell us a little bit more of your business about this prison story. They would, I just could see like the DMs and the emails right now, like, girl, how you going to let her say a little bit but not tell us? So you ain't got to tell us all of your business, but can you just give them a little piece of it so they don't harass me about it?
Of course. So, it was when I was young. This was maybe about 20 years ago. And I was transporting, carrying suitcases, and my job was to, Lucy, secure the bag. I need you to pick it up from one location, drop the suitcase off at another location, and pick up your money. And at that time, I didn't ask any questions. Fresh in college, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting $10,000, $15,000 to travel across the world to pick up a suitcase, drop it off. In the meantime, I'm having like a week vacation in between that. So I wasn't thinking that, this is something I'm going to get caught up with. I did have my scare moments where I was stopped. I did have those scare moments where I was like, oh my gosh, what is this that's in my suitcase? What did I get myself into? But it was the, it was, I wanted success and I wanted money so bad that I was using all the right tools at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. So I was fearless. I was a go-getter. I don't care who comes at me. I know I'm ready to play the part just to get to the bag, to drop one off and pick it up. And that's part of the story, just going to pick up and come to find out I'm a part of months down the line after several trips. And you can't tell me nothing. I'm a girl from the projects. I'm rolling in the dough. I'm the project girl right now. Everybody's coming to me from sneakers and stuff like that. So months down the line, for the FBI to come to my door, I was like, wait a minute, what is this about? And that was the beginning of an ending for a beginning. But I was a part of such a big case, a Nigerian case, international case, a conspiracy case, and it was just unbelievable. But here I am to turn it around because, listen, one thing I would say is chasing after success and chasing after the money and chasing after the quote unquote look wasn't, that obviously didn't pay off. It did. It may look like it now, but like I said, well, wisdom doesn't teach you rock bottom well. So there I was.
So, okay, you already mentioned, that you were using all of the right tools in the wrong place, pretty much in the wrong situation, but you were fearless and you were determined and you were willing to do what it took to, secure the bag. What other tools did you pick up during that experience or during, prison or, that kind of stemmed from that decision? What can you take away as like a business lesson? Did you learn anything like in the streets that you can now use in your business? Because I think in criminals, you have to be smart to get away with these. You really have to be on your stuff. And I'm always watching Gangland and I'm watching, all of those type shows. Those people are in order to create a criminal enterprise, you have to be, a genius. You have to be, really, really about your business. So what other lessons or characteristics did you take away from those circumstances that you can now use in your business?
One is negotiation. So even from the streets and even from my situation, even inside a prison, it's all about negotiations. It's all about how can you make it a win-win and even more of a win for yourself at the same time, right? How can we both win? But I still got, so that's one thing, right? You always want to be ahead of the game. And that's one thing I learned, how to always just kind of stay ahead of the learning curve. And that's all about less talk and more action. A lot of moves that's made in the street, a lot of moves that was made in prison, a lot of moves that I even had to make to get from one international country to the next is just keep quiet, keep quiet and move. And even inside of business, if the more being a silent storm is the thing that has helped me win. Make my moves, take action. You'll see it when it's done. Right now, look. Oh, guess what I'm doing? I learned my lesson doing that. When you tell so many rats where your cheese is, they gonna eat it and you ain't gonna have nothing. So for me, it was go get what you have to get for yourself first. Do you first. You don't have to. And another thing is you don't have to, a big habit that a lot of women that I see who don't have the street smarts is they'll be quick to give everything away and not utilize anything for themselves for their own glow up, for their own moves. So they won't get to a certain level before they start pulling people up. They'll pull everybody else up and then expect someone to say, hey, oh, sorry, we forgot about you. No, for me, I had to learn, listen, get to where you have to get to the top first. And only as you get to the top, now you're starting, then you can help and give and serve. And you can say, hey, don't make that turn. Don't do that step. And so those are the things that I learned is making the right strategic moves by watching, by taking more action, less talk, and just moving, and then bringing everybody up and then sharing. And so that's some of the things. Of course, there's the supply and the demand. I mean, we could go down to the 10 commandments on Biggie, but these are just some of the smart strategic things is less talk, more action, and be willing to learn. Can't be a know-it-all at all. You got to be willing to learn.
Good tips. You got to write that down. And that is definitely one mistake that I have made. You know, you kind of hurt my feelings a little bit when you're talking about people wanting to give it all away, because that, I don't know if I want to say that is me, but that has been me in the past. And I think it came from, you know, being a teacher, being an educator, wanting to just nurture and give and even though that's a really great mentality to have, you're right, it'll slow you down if you're steadily, you know, trying to bring everybody with you. That is just, you know, slowing down the time that it's going to take you to get to the top, where you really have the access and the platform and the opportunities to bring everybody up. Okay, right. So in order to get from where you were to where you are now and where you are continuing to go and grow your business, you've obviously used the vision board, the law of attraction, being intentional, all of those things. You have been so many places with this vision board, Essence, Dr. Oz, just all around the world. This vision board has really helped you to create this platform that you're able to, you know, use to teach other people how to activate their lives. So what is it that you are doing differently than everybody else when it comes to the vision boards? Because everybody's doing them, but Dr. Oz ain't calling everybody to come on his show to talk about them.
Absolutely. And just real quick, I don't want people, especially entrepreneurs, to think, don't give. Like you said, I'm going to go back to what you just asked me, but I don't want someone to miss out on their blessing because they're like, oh, let me hold on to this. Lucinda said, Corey said, hold on. No, when you have give as much as you possibly can. But if you're not utilizing the resources for your turn, for you to get up there first, then you can't give, because then you'll give out everything that you have without really learning. If that just helps to clean that up, because I give away a lot of stuff. That's why people come to me. I give so much stuff, but trust and believe, that's not it. So that it keeps them coming. That's the supply and demand. That's a whole nother podcast conversation. But to answer your question with the vision board party, right? The reason why I think people are coming to me for it is because, especially when it comes to media, because I'm teaching something. It's not about a party for me. You know, when I first started out, it was about a party. I started out doing the vision board right on the compound in prison in Bryan, Texas, FBC, Bryan, Texas, on the campgrounds with women. Started out with a couple of women and it branched out to more. But there was a system and a blueprint that I used based on what my mother taught me from psychology. So it's the learning lessons. It's the experience that I'm giving people. It's not just the party. Everybody can party. When I came home, we was just having vision board parties. Hey, girls, get the wine. Let's turn up. Let's have a vision board party and craft this thing out. But when I started to really dig deep into why you haven't accomplished your goals from 5 years ago and what's going to change so that you can accomplish them in the next less than 5 months, then that started to make the shift. When I started to dig deep, when I started to really dig deep into goal setting, what is stopping people? Why are they not taking action? Why they keep making excuses? People wanted that. They wanted help. They want to accomplish more. And I'm helping them accomplish more. So they think they come in a cut and paste. But those who have been in the experience know that it's more than just a cut and paste. Lucinda's really going to help push me to get this thing done. And they can feel it because that's the language that I speak. So I'm not just throwing a vision board party. I talk and walk this walk throughout the year. All throughout the year. You can look at any video. You can look at any interview. All throughout the year, it's all about taking action and showing people how to take action.
So would you say that that's the biggest mistake that people make? Because everybody and their mama is making a vision board, but year after year, so many people are putting the same things on these vision boards because I believe it's because they're not really putting the action behind it. What do you think is like the mistake that most people are making when it comes to the vision boards? Because like you said, it's not just about getting together with your homegirls and cutting and pasting, but it really has to be intentional. So what do you think people are doing wrong?
I think, first of all, they need to stop with the collage parties. Like, stop. Those are collage parties. Ooh, let's create a collage. These are art parties that a lot of people are hosting. And it's not to put down anything that anybody's doing. But if you really want to help people, they have to be intentional. So what's going wrong is that nobody is focusing on setting clear goals. They're all over the place. And once you start working on one goal and dissecting that one goal, it's like 20 30 things that needs to happen in order for that one goal to happen. That should be enough to keep you focused. So these parties is all about putting on a bunch of things that you want versus the things that you will really go and work for and you desire and yearn for inside. So the wrong thing is no intention. Like you was mentioning, there's no set intentions. There's no one's willing to really do the work to make it happen. They think, oh, let me just put a picture up on this board and see what happens. No, that's not how visions work. Then you have a collage from 2013 to 2015. It looks the same as 2017 and nothing still hasn't happened because you haven't done the work and you're not clear or you gave up too soon. So that's what happens. A lot of people are not focused on what is it that you are going to do the work towards and go after it with a vengeance. This is non-negotiable. What is your non-negotiable goals that you are putting on that board? I don't care what happens. A fire, a flood, divorce, breakup, pregnancy, illness. You are not going to stop pursuing and making sure that this vision comes to fruition. That's what you put on the board. Not the Ferrari's nice, but you ain't even do the work to increase the money and fix your budget. So that's where my five pillars come in: family, faith, friends, finances, and fitness. That should be on every vision board. Family, faith, friends, finances, and fitness. Work on those 5 elements, and that'll help you to accomplish more.
I love it. Definitely. I think it helps, like you said, to have that one thing instead of putting the wedding dress, putting the vacations, putting the ring, putting the baby, it's like, girl, you're not about to do all of that in these 12 months, right? You already know that. So what are we doing here? What are we doing? Got to be working smarter and not harder. You aren't just going to, I wish it worked like that. You could just put it on the board and, say a little prayer and it showed up.
Oh,
but no, it ain't happening.
I wish.
So tell me this. You have accomplished so much. And I started to ask you about what you felt like your big break was, like when you really felt like, okay, I'm doing this. But I want to know what it felt like to find out that you got this Lifetime Achievement Award from President Obama. Not like once you're there and you're accepting it. How did it feel like just when you got the email or you got the phone call? What was that feeling like?
So here's how it went. I got the email, and it's all about connections. My goodness, just showing up. Half of the success is all about showing up. And that's what a lot of people miss out on, is the showing up part. And the work that you've done when nobody was looking, how it just comes to fruition and unfolds. And so I'm behind the scenes just working. There's a lot of things that I don't do that people don't see on social media. And that's what I was rewarded for, going and speaking in halfway houses and putting together programs for prisons and, just working on and the volunteer work with Boys and Girls Club and in my inner city community. Well, I end up getting an email from someone. I spoke at an event, Lisa Nicole Cloud's event, and there was a lady there and she said, I want to get your information. I love your story. I love what you do. Well, she started researching me for months and she recommended me. She was working in the Obama administration and she recommended me for the Lifetime Achievement Award. But I didn't know yet. So when I got the email, she was asking for my bio, my information. She said, I have something really great. She didn't tell me. She said, I have something really great, really great. Well, unfortunately, by the time it was time for me to get the award, Obama his term was already up, but she already got it signed. She already got the paperwork. Everything was done. And the day that I was supposed to receive it, I wasn't even there. Like, this was supposed to be a big surprise. Well, when I got home, oh gosh, and I opened up that mail, and it was a priority letter. I lost it. I did a whole video on it, Coriel. I'm crazy. So I'm going to put it on YouTube. When I got it in the mail, I lost it. To see the signature, the pen, the private letter, my company, the name. It's nothing. I was gone. I was running around the house like a lunatic because that's something I would never even think that I would even get an award like that, ever. And even though I wasn't actually there for that ceremony and for them to give it away, to be able to come home and still have it, just like everyone else was holding their stuff, that was just great enough for me.
Shout out to you. That is, I mean, that is an amazing, amazing accomplishment, especially coming from, our forever president. And you mentioned that it's the behind the scenes work and it's the stuff that everybody doesn't really get to see. And it also comes down to your people. I always say, your real power is in your people, and not just who you know, not just who knows you, but who is willing to open that door, who's willing to send that email on your behalf, who's willing to make that connection, who's willing to do that introduction. How important have people been to your journey and just your relationships? How important have relationships been to your success?
God, for me, relationships is top. Relationships is key. There's some relationships that I had to let go of. There's some relationships that, I had to repair and get over, and it's all part of the learning process. But relationships for me is everything. It's everything. And it's just so much when it comes to, I love working with women. I really, really love working with women. And there was a time that that was something that would never come out of my mouth. I didn't want to work with them. I didn't want female clients. I'm real talk, Corey. I just didn't want any of the drama. I didn't want any issues. Oh, you got a bad day. Oh, you don't want me to succeed, because I was pushed down so much by women that it was just like, I just came from prison. Like, we have no choice but to like each other. And now to come home, I have to deal with some mess, and you free, get out of here. I'm not doing it. But when I got over myself started to even work on the relationship that I had with my mother. Once we started to restore that trust, that's when I realized that my purpose was working with women and collaborating with women. And once I started to do that, I even collaborated with those who thought they were competing with me. I would make it my business. Let's collaborate. Let's connect. Because I didn't want to. I'm not a threat here. You're far from who I'm going after. And trust me, I should not even be who you're looking at. Who I'm looking at, she's already like almost a billionaire right now. And I'm trying to figure out how to get there. Not somebody who's my peer and we can see each other on the street. So collaborations is key. And once I made it clear that, hey, we have a common goal. Let's do this goal together. We can do so much more together than separate. That's when I started to win. My business started to flourish. Doors started to open up. It just changed. It changed my whole business. It changed my mindset. And it also changed some of the women that I came in contact with.
It's so important that I think a lot of times business coaches try to separate like your business and your personal, meaning like your mental health, your emotional health, and the baggage that you've been holding on to definitely affects your business building. And so you having these issues that you may not even, realize that you have with your mother or with your daddy or with whoever could be showing up in other areas of your life and stopping you from success, and you don't even realize it. So, I'm a big, big advocate for therapy and even if you have to work through your issues on your own, even if you're not ready to sit and talk with somebody, just being real with yourself about why you are the way you are, how you ended up here, and what you need to do to become that person who's going to be able to accomplish those goals. Because you aren't going to be able to be Oprah if you can't, hold a conversation with another woman because you got a problem with women.
Come on. A lot of women don't, and there's a lot of women who really don't like women. I said, why you say women support, empowering women? You don't even like women. So let's just, so that, I love what you said. And when I repaired the relationship with my biological father, like my stepfather's the world to me. I carry his name, Cross. But when I repaired the relationship with my biological father, my finances opened up. I said, what does this have to do with my finances? But it's all about the legacy. It's all about releasing so you can receive more. Just to go on that. Yeah. You're right, Oreo.
I love it. Okay, so aside from manifesting all of this success with these vision boards, you also manifested your man, which is just inspirational for women all around the world who feel like they can't have both. And so, yes, you have both, but I want to take it a step further. I'm not going to ask you like what you put on your vision board, what kind of prayer did you say, all that stuff. What I want to know is, how do you manage to be the happy wife and this boss? Like, how do you turn off boss mode and embrace that wife life when you are at home? How do you manage both roles?
I had to incorporate the two. So it's the same. I had to incorporate both by including him in what I was doing and making him and my family a part of what I was doing. So on my vision board, real quick, I put down the characteristics that I loved in my stepfather. And I said, this is what I want. Well, my father, this is what I want in a husband. And at that time, a single mom, I had two small kids. I'm like, who is going to, oh my gosh, I'm so washed up. Who's going to want me? But and I was an entrepreneur, and my Holly Berry haircut started looking like Celie. I was looking crazy. So natural hair wasn't the thing back then. So I was just going through a whole lot, right, at that time. But I said, I'm ready for love. That's all I said. I said, I'm ready for love. Let me put together a love board. I've achieved success in my business. I'm managing my lifestyle as a single mom. I'm ready for love. God, help me to be happy with myself. How can I be happy with? I didn't want a man to come in to complete me. I wanted to already be whole. And so when he comes to me, I don't have any hangups. I'm not talking about my baby daddy. I'm not talking about what this last dude did. I'm not going through his phone. How can you help me? I want to be happy. And I went through a whole transformation, a whole purging, a whole process before he even showed up. And when he showed up, I was ready. And I didn't put any pressure on him. He didn't put any pressure on me. But the one thing he carried, not besides all the characteristics that I put on that I wanted in a man based on my father, he was happy with himself. He was happy with his life. He loved his life. And I loved that. He loved his life. He loved people. And we met each other right at the same space, to the point where I even had to question. I was like, this is weird. Like, who is he? What's going on? Is he a little funny? What's up with him? Because I was used to bad boys. I like them bad boys, fast cars, fast money, talk slick, not around. I got to harass you. Nope. He was the complete opposite. He was the square. And I said, this is it. He's the one. He's the square. I'm the rough edge. But how we keep it happy is because of that, because we are so much of an opposite. He loves the daring risk taker in me. And he's the planner and the processor in him. And so we balance each other off. But just as I'm boss with everything else, he's going to see Lucinda when he come in the door. I got my lashes on. I'm still looking cute. And he loves the boss in me. And that's what I love. He allows me to be myself because he knows I'm not going to change. And that's how we stay happy. And he's an entrepreneur, so it works out well, too. He's been in the game for, over 20 years now, owning his own shop. So he understands the grind, and and I listen to him, on different things that I need to know. Well, how do I do this? And how do I operate that? But I had to include him in it instead of, this is my purpose, my grind, my thing. No, hey, babe, this is what I have going on. You want to come with me on this trip? Can you help me with this particular thing? Can you listen to this about that? And yeah, I sit down and watch, stuff that I don't like to watch with him, but it's a compromise on both ends, and I'm aware of it. But
yo, Lucinda, when you said he is happy with himself,
he's happy.
I don't think that women realize like how important it is to be with someone who's emotionally stable. Women get a bad rap for being emotional and all of that stuff, but these men out here who just wake up having a bad day will ruin your life. And until you meet one that has like taken you down, you don't appreciate that square. You don't appreciate the man who's just happy that it's Monday and he happy to be looking at you. The one who you don't have to chase. And so do you believe like the person you marry is the most important business decision that you make? Do you think that's a true statement?
Definitely. When you don't have to compromise your happiness, your purpose, your business, and what you like to do, I don't care if I'm sitting up here, listen, babe, my job is to shred papers. He's going to be happy about it because he's happy with himself. He's happy with life. So that's one of the best business decisions I could have ever made. And it's only because he didn't come in. I didn't have to pick whether it's him, my children, or my business first. He already came in he just came so bossed up that he's the top priority, and he balances everything out. So I don't have to compromise my business. I don't have to compromise my children. Some people, they want to put their man before their kids, or they put their man before their business, or their business before their man, or they, kids before. I didn't have to do any of that because that was a non-negotiable. I was clear about that on my love board. None of this this is all going to work out because I'm happy with myself and he's happy with himself. And that's just it. He's not narcissistic. He's not looking at, oh, it's me, me, me. What about me? And it's not even about that. I didn't want anybody who's all into himself. I don't want anybody who's all into selfies. He just started getting on social media. He still probably got the same old pictures from, you know what I'm saying, from 2 years ago when he first signed on. I didn't want anybody who was all in the mix. I want somebody who was all into themselves and into his job and into making sure our family was right.
I love it. And the more you evolve, the more your taste, starts to change, the more that fast money and fast cars starts to look like a risk. It starts to look a little more riskier and a little less fun the older and more established, and successful you become. I love it. I have absolutely enjoyed this conversation, Lucinda, and I know that all of my ladies appreciate all of these gems that you have been dropping. Can you please let them know where they can find you online and how they can connect with you on social media?
Oh my gosh, yes. I love to play on Instagram. Instagram's my favorite spot. Instagram.com/Lucinda Cross. It may say Lucinda Cross OTT. It's not OTT, it's OTT. Or you can go to, that's my married name. Ironically, I'm married a Nigerian. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yo, I thought about that. I swear I thought about that when you was telling the story. I wasn't going to say nothing though.
Everybody do. Everybody in the news, they be like, so OTT Nigerian? I'm like, no, he's not a part of it. No, not at all. But go to my website, lucindacross.com, lucindacross.com for more information. And if you want to grab a freebie, a template, vision board template is free. You can go to lucindacross.com/freebie and download your vision board template to get you going for the year.
This has been another game-changing episode of Confessions of a Workaholic, meant to empower and encourage you to get that ass to work. You already have everything you need to get everything you want if you are willing to do what it takes. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Confessions of a Workaholic.